So thanks again everyone for joining us today. My name is John Richards, and I am a medical dosimetrist and an efficiency expert for Radformation. The reason that we decided to put this webinar on today is because we receive a lot of questions for training everybody on 3 and 4 field breast plans and the different workflows utilized. So today we're going to be reviewing the different workflows used with EZFluence for creating quality 3 and 4 field breast plans. So to get started, I'd like to kind of go over some of the goals that I want to accomplish in the next 45 minutes as your presenter. So my primary goal today is to provide everybody tools and techniques to help you make top quality plans using EZFluence. And we're even jump into some tools and techniques in Eclipse that most of you probably already know, but maybe not. And then I want to make sure that you come out of this webinar knowing how to plan 3 and 4 field breast plans with good match line dose, obviously quality coverage, and not too many hot spots. And then to do all of this in a timely manner, right? So most of us don't have 2 or 3 days to complete these plans. If we did, we'd create perfect plans, but we don't have that time. And that's where EZFluence comes in. It's going to give you, as you all know, quite a few different plans that you can show the physician and in a very quick manner. So the first workflow that I'm going to be going over is the all-in-one planning. So this is where all of your tangents and superclav and if your PAB is applicable, all in one plan. The second workflow we'll go over is launching from the plan sum. And as everyone stated, this is where almost 50%, well, 45% of you that are in this webinar utilize that. And then adding bolus QOD. So this is actually where a lot of questions come in where people already know how to use this technique, but they ask us, what is the community using EZFluence for when they're or not what are they using it for, but how are they utilizing when they need to add QOD? What are other clinics doing? So I'm gonna pass that information, the knowledge that I've gained from all of you of how the best technique, what technique to use when utilizing EZFluence for bolus every other day plans. Okay, so this is an advanced session. You absolutely do not need to be an expert to be part of this presentation, but it's important to know that I'm going to be going over some features where I'll be glossing over the basic functions of EZFluence. So that being said, I'd like to clarify some of the terms we use here at Radformation. So first of all, when I say eComp, we utilize that quite a bit. If you heard us in demo and training, eComp, I'm referring to electron compensator plans. These are plans that are made with Fluence and sent back to Eclipse to be calculated using the leaf motion calculator. And I'm going to be speaking mostly about these types of plans, but know that you can still accomplish the same thing using field and field. Although you may not get the same quality plan, you can still accomplish the same goal. And then I'm also not going to be going over how to edit Fluence or MLCs in EZFluence window. Please refer to our website if you're unsure how to do that. And I'm going to be going over, or I'm sorry, I'm not going to be going over adjusting coverage too much. I may if it looks real bad, but my plan shouldn't look real bad. And I'm not going to be looking at coverage during the webinar, so I'm not going to be editing out little hotspots or little missed coverages because we all have a large group here and every clinic or physician plans differently. I think everybody gets that. My coverage goals may be different than yours. So this webinar really isn't to show you how to make your coverage different. It's just to show you the workflow and then let you tweak the coverage as you need. And then lastly, I'm going to be showing everything in a mono isocentric plan. The same thing can be achieved using non-mono isocentric plans, just with a few more couch kicks. And then a little plug to our website. You can find a lot of resources on radformation.com, including how-to videos for ClearCheck and EZFluence. So if you want to find those resources, log on to our website. And what you'll do is in the top bar there, you'll go up to products, and then you'll scroll over to the EZFluence page. Go ahead and scroll down to the bottom of that page, find our video link, and you can find a lot of resources in here, including the all-in-one 3 and 4 field breast planning, using our SIB treatment, our SIB tool as well. And then lastly, if you want to join an awesome and growing team of clinical experts, find our careers page, see if there's anything that interests you. You know, all of you are probably here because you enjoy learning new things and how to plan to the best of your ability. And that's what our company is all about. We're learning and developing innovative ways to make the clinic more efficient, whether that be automation or just plain old efficiency. We'll open up our Eclipse here, and we'll get started with a all-in-one planning technique. I've already set this plan up. Again, I'm going to be glossing over a lot of setup here, and I don't have anything weighted correctly. Obviously, this plan's really hot. All I have is my open fields, dose calculated, and my MLCs on here. Okay, so from here, I'm going to go ahead and launch EZFluence. Again, I'm not going to go into how to launch EZFluence. I think everybody understands that. And the first page that comes up here, EZFluence knows that I am running a superclav plan with my tangents. Now you're asking, how does EZFluence know that I launched a superclav plan? Nomenclature is very important here. So you can see down here in the bottom left in my field tab that I have specific nomenclature. You need to have either superclav, SCV, or S space clav in your superclav title. You don't have to have all three, just one of those names, and then EZFluence is going to recognize you have a superclav field in the plan. And then it's going to utilize the 3 and 4 field optimization instead of the regular 2 field optimization. Then you'll get this window. This window is just recognizing that the superclav is there. And this first line asks, okay, what do you want your hotspot only in your superclav to be? Are you willing to take it to 113? I'm not. I prefer something like 110. I think most people do. You know, obviously it depends on how large the separation is and how deep that coverage you want to get is. Well, let's go to 110 because the next line right down as it notes says, hey, we don't take into consideration the tangent, so plan for error, right? Not for error, but for additional dose from the tangent. So I'm going to say 110. Hopefully I'll get around 111, 112. The second line here, well, you have two options here. You can either cover a specific structure or you can cover a specific point. You can choose either or, you can't cover both. With a cover structure, you can choose by clicking on this plus button, a specific structure from your plan. So in this case, I have a superclav level 3, and then I can choose the percentage that I want covered. So instead of covering a structure, I'm going to go ahead and cover point. Now you have a couple options here. You can either utilize the Easy Auto Select, and what this will do is allow you to choose a specific depth. So if I want to choose a certain percentage, let's say 90% to 3 cm, this is what I would choose. EZFluence will drop a point at 3 cm depth and try to get 90% coverage. Now you'll notice when it first popped up, I had this reference point. This reference point is in my plan, and EZFluence again recognizes that there's a point called superclav, SCV, or S-clav. You don't have to have all three of those there, just one of them, and EZFluence will automatically recognize, okay, this is the point that you want to get whatever percentage you put here, and then it'll automatically select the depth. For this demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and say auto select to 3 cm and go ahead and run. So now what EZFluence is doing is it's allocating the appropriate amount of monounits to that superclav field to get 90% dose to that 3 cm depth. Once it does that, it's going to start building my tangent plans while taking into consideration that superclav dose. So the first thing that I like to do with chest wall plans is go straight up to the gear icon and adjust my PTV eval. So I'm going to say 0, because as you can see, EZFluence, let's back up a little bit. EZFluence builds your PTV eval, whatever your default settings it was. Mine was 5 millimeters from the skin edge, 5 millimeters from the OARs, and any skin, OARs, and field edge. Now I'm going to adjust that to 0, 0, so it kind of builds that PTV eval up. And so that's the default setting, and you can see the PTV eval is broken up because, you know, this is only maybe a centimeter or centimeter and a half. So it can't get the PTV eval in here. So I'm going to go ahead and say 0, 0. It's going to build my PTV eval up a little bit bigger, and now EZFluence has a little bit more target to work with. In some cases, this isn't going to work. On my case here, it actually doesn't change my plan much at all, but in some cases it may help you. So it's just really my automatic go-to, adjust that PTV eval, let it re-optimize, and see if it gives me a little bit better dose coverage. Anything we can get on chest walls is great, right? Okay, so now you can see, I'll actually turn the isodose lines off here. You can see that PTV eval is built up a little bit more. But I can tell you, because I've run this a few times, in this case, it doesn't change it. In other cases, it may. Okay, so again, I'm not going to go over dose coverage. My 100% is the orange and yellow, and so it looks like it's got pretty good coverage. What I am going to do is I'm going to jump up to this match line in my supraclavicular field, and this is where we can start editing our supraclav field. Now, we get a lot of questions of, hey, how can I get EZFluence to modulate or put fluence on my supraclav?
One option you have is to just increase mono units in the superclav and decrease mono units in the superclav. But what you can also do is edit fluence in the superclav, or PAB if that's applicable. What I like to do is come down to the max dose tab, turn that on so I can see the dose cloud that I'm working with. And by holding my control button down and left mouse clicking, I can decrease fluence, and I can also increase fluence. So I can turn my target structure on, see where I'm painting dose in, and by holding the control button down and right mouse button clicking, I can increase fluence to my target region.
And a little pro tip here, so I'm going to zoom in here. So my brush size right now is 1 pixel by 1 pixel, which is really 3 pixels here. But pro tip, if you change your brush size to 0 and 0, your brush size is now 1 pixel big. And so I'm going to go up to this slice here and increase the fluence in that beamlet. And you can see automatically it updates. Increase a little more, go to my other field, and increase the fluence a little bit more. And you can see I'm now increasing my match line dose a little bit, getting a little bit better. All right, so I'm actually, that's about all the editing that I want to do here. And we're going to go ahead and export that fluence back to Eclipse. EZFluence is packaging up that fluence, sending it back to Eclipse, and now we're waiting for the final leaf motion calculator to be calculated. I'd like to add an additional tips and trick, and a lot of you, or tricks, actually it's just a trick. A lot of you may already know this, but I'm gonna go ahead and show it anyways. When you get a plan back from EZFluence and your match, you get one slice that, yeah, you know what, this needs a little more dose. An Eclipse trick that I learned is that you can go into your superclav plane here. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the MLCs, and you see how this outside of the block, that first MLC here, outside of the block or the open field, is closed. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that MLC, I'm gonna open it up. What this is gonna do is provide just that little percentage leak, that little percentage of leakage through the block, but not the MLCs, right? Because they're open. So you're getting, you know, almost 100% blockage through the MLCs and the blocks. But here we're allowing just a little bit leakage. And I don't know if you saw, but this dose jumped up a little bit right here, about that 2% that we need to make a nice even dose distribution right at that match line. So I think a lot of us maybe drop that jaw down just 1 millimeter to get that extra dose, but this is kind of that in between where I don't need that full like open field. I just want just a 1% or 2% to show the physician, yeah, I'm still getting 99% coverage where that cold spot is, right on the match line. All right, so next workflow here. So I have a chest wall plan and I have my superclav. I have both of those combined already done in a planned sum. Okay, so this is planned sum. Both plans are separated, but I will note that in this case, you look down in my fields tab that my superclav does have a control point. So keep in mind that you can add subfields to your superclav when launching EZFluence from a planned sum. You can only do this from an all-in-one, or I'm sorry, a planned sum. You cannot have fluence, so it can't be an ecomp superclav. It can only be a field and field. So we're really going to be creating a hybrid where the tangents are ecomp and the superclav is a field and field. The reason I added this subfield to the superclav was it was a little bit hot, and to show you that you can really build out your superclav field and then add the tangents, throw on a planned sum, and then launch EZFluence. So we're gonna go ahead and launch EZFluence now. You'll recognize that we don't get that initial pop-up window that we had before where it says, hey, you have a superclav plan in here, because we don't get to adjust that. EZFluence is gonna leave that superclav plan alone, but key reminder here is you do need to choose the correct plan sum. And the reason for this, and a lot of people ask, well, I have this active, why doesn't it see? It's an API limitation. So EZFluence, we can't look into Eclipse and see which plan sum is active. We can only see if a plan is active, but not plan sums. So that's the reason we have you choose which plan sum to launch. So this one is my chess ball without bolus. We're gonna add the bolus here after this plan's done. So the reason why we may launch EZFluence from a planned sum rather than an all-in-one is that your superclav and your tangents may be different prescriptions, and that's the case with this plan. My tangents go to 50 and my 5,000, and my superclav goes to 50/40. You cannot do separate prescriptions in an all-in-one. You can only do that in a superclav, in a planned sum workflow. You could potentially just change, in your all-in-one, just separate the plans out and adjust your prescription as needed. But if you want to do this workflow using different prescriptions, this is the workflow you would use. Now we can go again up to the superclav and tangent match line. It looks pretty good. I could send this plan back. Let's say I wanted to adjust this a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and show you the beam's eye view. And guess what? I can't navigate to the superclav because I'm launching from a planned sum. I'm not allowed to adjust the superclav plan at all. It's static. It doesn't do anything, but EZFluence still takes it into consideration when planning the tangents. So I'm going to go ahead and show a little way we still can adjust this match line dose here. I'm going to show the max dose, or the dose cloud rather, and up here above the CT window, we have some compensation. What this slider bar does is right now it's all the way to the right, meaning EZFluence is taking into consideration the full superclav dose when planning the tangents. Now, when I move that slider bar left, you'll see on the beam's eye view and in the CT window that my dose starts to increase. So anything above 105 you're seeing turns into pink. That means it's above 105 in the dose cloud. All the way to the left on the sum compensation slider bar means EZFluence isn't taking into consideration any of the superclav dose. It's as if it doesn't exist. We're just planning the tangents by themselves. So I'm going to keep this slid all the way to the right so that EZFluence takes that into consideration. Again, you could still come in here, change your brush size to 0, and increase your fluence if you want. And then, of course, generating your field and field, if that's what you do, you can do that here. For me, I'm just going to go ahead and export this fluence back to Eclipse, and we can take a look at it. I think I don't need to go into too much detail, but I will again reiterate that you can even, again, add additional subfields after the plane is back in Eclipse. So I could still come into the superclav, add a new field and field, and adjust, some more hotspot in here if needed. And then adjust your weighting here. and then recalculate. So you can still, you're not limited. I think everybody knows that when you send your plans back to Eclipse, you have full function of anything in Eclipse. So you can still adjust not just the superclav, but you could still adjust the tangents as well. And then again, you could come back in here and adjust that match line if you wanted to increase dose right where that cold match line is. All right, so last step here, or the last kind of tool I want to show everybody is the addition of bolus every other day. So in this case, we're gonna go look at the dose here. So we see that my chest wall is 200 times 25 and my superclav is 28. I'm gonna bring in my sum with bolus and same prescription, my chest wall 200 and my superclav. So keep that the same. You don't wanna knock this down quite yet. And so I'm gonna go ahead and launch EZFluence with the plan, on the plan with the bolus. And again, we need to make sure that we're launching the right one. I'm actually gonna go back and make sure it's the right one. Plan sum bolus. Yep, that's it. Now EZFluence is planning that tangent with the bolus, but it's utilizing that superclav with the two subfields that I just made. So when I initially launched it on the non-bolus, only had one subfield. And then I just added another one right before I launched this, and it's utilizing that superclav plan to take into consideration that dose when building the tangents. So I'm still using, the whole goal of what I'm saying is I'm still utilizing the same superclav on both plans. This one just has bolus. Now you can see EZFluence recognized that it had bolus, and my PTV eval is a little bit different. So our plan's back in Eclipse with the bolus added. So what you're gonna do now I have two separate plans. I have my sum bolus with bolus and then my sum without bolus. I'm gonna have to go in and create a new plan sum. We're gonna call it the everything. Got a lot of plans, so now I get to search for them all. So I got chest wall bolus, EZ0, and then chest wall easy, and then my superclav. Now, a lot of people, I will say, a lot of people ask, well, why can't I just take my EZFluence plan without bolus, add the bolus, and recalculate? You absolutely can, but you're not going to get the best optimized plan when you do that. You're going to want to rerun EZFluence with the bolus because you're going to have an overall great plan utilizing both plans that went through EZFluence, because EZFluence is going to take into consideration that extra tissue, whether it be half CM or full bolus, when optimizing. But when you just throw on a bolus, you could have some cold spots on one day. So our suggestion is to relaunch EZFluence with the bolus, however you do it, whichever order you do. Just make sure on both plans you launch EZFluence. Okay, so I did leave a little bit of extra time for a little Eclipse tool tip. I think it'd be good to leave off with promoting Eclipse. So I know I said I did everything on a mono isocentric, but I have a non-mono isocentric plan up here. And the tool that I want to highlight here, I think everybody, well, not everybody knows about this. This is why I'm throwing it out there. It's Eclipse's field alignments tool. And when you have those plans that you can't throw a mono isocentric plan on, you have to go to this field alignment. So as you can see, let me throw up the coronal field here. I have a ISO center for my superclav, ISO for my tangents, and I have quite a bit of overlap here, right, from both fields. My couches aren't kicked, so yeah, obviously there's a divergence going on. So what you're gonna wanna do is open up your, first of all, you wanna kind of visualize it as you're doing it so you don't do it wrong. So start with your tangent field in the field alignment. So right here I have my left lateral tangent, and then the jaw that you want to match to the superclav field. So in this case, I want to match my Y2 jaw with my Y1. I'll flip over here with my Y1 of my superclav. So I say match my jaw edge Y2, and then I have a direction. There's only two options. This icon here says you want to align if you're opposed field. So if you wanted to align your X jaws, then you would utilize that one that goes left and right. But we want to align the same line with the same jaw edge. So we utilize this icon. And then my second field is my superclav, okay? And then which jaw edge do I want to align? I want to align the Y1, all right? The next part is pretty important. So you don't want to click on auto. Well, from my perspective, auto's gonna change your ISO center. It's gonna choose whatever it wants. I'm not totally sure on that. I always go keep an ISO center. This way, both your superclav ISO and your tangent ISO stay the same, and then your master field is your superclav. So that's not going to go unchanged. If you want to do it the other way, you can, but your superclav will tilt and throw gantry angles, and you don't want your superclav to change. You just want your tangents to change. So we want our master field as the superclav, and then you're going to be opposite for your other tangent, whatever workflow or order you do that in. So my left medial tangent, Y2 jaw, same field aligned with my jaw edge. Now, once you have that set up, and I'm gonna go ahead and open this guy up so you can see it happen in real action. Once all of that is set up, we go ahead and say field alignments, and it's gonna automatically move my couches, my collimator, so that I have a perfect match line in Eclipse to start EZFluence. Now, if you're not utilizing this, what you're doing, I've seen a lot of different techniques. You can throw a contour that's the whole body and then adjust your couches and collimator. That takes forever. This field alignment is clutch, really. And another cool part about this is if you need to move, or if your position moves, the superclav ISO, let's say, it's right in the middle of my target here. I want to move it down or up. Once you move the superclav target or the superclav ISO, everything readjusts and aligns. So I'm going to go down 2 cm. You're going to see the superclav. I'm going to make sure I do this right. Superclav ISO move down, and then my tangents automatically readjust everything. So I have a perfect match line on a non-mono isocentric plan. And from here, all I have to do, recalculate dose, launch EZFluence, and then I have a non-mono isocentric plan. Okay, everybody, I really appreciate everyone showing up. The last thing in order here, I'd like to throw one more poll out here. Have you heard about the Toledo technique? I didn't really give it an option of yes, tell me more. So you can change it if you want. No, tell me more. I don't know if this aligns with the last one that people know about the Toledo technique, but yeah, no, tell me more. So this is great to hear. Maybe we'll put up a blog post. Keep an eye on radformation.com. I'm gonna have to close it so I can share. So as you can see, a lot of people want to know what the Toledo technique is. This is great. So keep an eye on our website and our blog. If you don't subscribe, go to radformation.com, subscribe. I'm sure you'll be seeing a new blog post out regarding this Toledo technique. All right, thanks everybody for joining.